The Huluppu Tree. In the first days, in the very first days, in the first nights, in the very first nights, in the first years, in the very first years, in the first days when everything needed was brought into being, in the first days when everything needed was properly nourished, when the bread was baked in the shrines of the land, and the bread was tasted in the homes of the land, when the heaven had moved away from the earth, and the earth had separated from the heaven, and the name of man was fixed. When the sky god An had carried off the heavens, and the air god Enlil had carried off the earth. When the queen of the great below, Ereshkigal, was given the underworld for her domain. He set sail, the father set sail. Enki, the god of wisdom, set sail for the underworld. Small windstones were tossed against him. Large hailstones were hurled up against him. Like onrushing turtles, they charged at the keel of Enki's boat. The waters of the sea devoured the bow of the boat like wolves. The waters of the sea struck the stern of the boat like lions. At that time, a tree, a single tree, a Huluppu tree, was planted by the banks of the Euphrates. This tree was nourished by the waters of the Euphrates. The whirling south wind arose, pulling at its roots, and ripped at its branches, until the waters of the Euphrates carried it away. A woman who walked in fear of the word of the sky god An, who walked in fear of the word of the air god Enlil, plucked the tree from the river and spoke. I shall bring this tree to Uruk. I shall plant this tree in my holy garden. Inanna cared for the tree with her hand. She settled the earth around the tree with her foot, and she wondered, how long will it be until I have a shining throne to sit upon? How long will it be until I have a shining bed to lie upon? The years passed, 5 years, then 10. The tree grew thick, but its bark did not split. Then a serpent, who could not be charmed, made its nest in the roots of the Huluppu tree. The Anzu bird set its young in the branches of the tree, and the dark maiden Lilith built her home in its trunk. The woman who loved to laugh wept. How Inanna wept! They would not leave her tree. As the birds began to sing at the coming of the new dawn, the sun god Utu left his royal bedchamber. Inanna called upon her brother Utu, saying, O Utu, in the days when my fates were decreed, when the abundance overflowed in the land, when the sky god took the heavens and the air god took the earth, when Ereshkigal was given the great below as her domain, the god of wisdom, Father Enki, set sail for the underworld, and the underworld rose up and attacked him. At that time, a tree, a single tree, a Huluppu tree, was planted by the banks of the Euphrates. The south wind pulled at its roots and ripped at its branches until the waters of the Euphrates carried it away. I plucked the tree from the river. I brought it to my holy garden. I tended to the tree, waiting for my shining throne and bed. Then a serpent, who could not be charmed, made its nest in the roots of the tree. The Anzu bird set his young in the branches of the tree, and the dark maiden Lilith built her home in the trunk. And I wept. Oh, how I wept! They would not leave my tree. Utu, the valiant warrior Utu, would not help his sister Inanna, and the birds began to sing at the coming of a second dawn. Inanna called to her brother Gilgamesh, saying, O Gilgamesh, in the days when the fates were decreed, when abundance overflowed in Sumer, when the sky god had taken the heavens, and the air god had taken the earth, when Ereshkigal was given the great below for her domain, the god of wisdom, Father Enki, set sail for the underworld, and the underworld rose up and attacked him. At that time, a tree, a single tree, a Huluppu tree, was planted by the banks of the Euphrates. The south wind pulled at its roots, ripped at its branches, until the waters of the Euphrates carried it away. I plucked the tree from the river. I brought it to my holy garden. I tended the tree, waiting for my shining throne in bed. Then a serpent who could not be charmed made its nest in the roots of the tree. The Anzu bird set its young in the branches of the tree, and the dark maiden Lilith built her home in the trunk. And I wept. Oh, how I wept! They would not leave my tree. Gilgamesh, the valiant warrior, Gilgamesh, the hero of Uruk, stood by Inanna. Gilgamesh fastened his armor of 50 minas around his chest. The 50 minas weighed as little to him as 50 feathers. He lifted his bronze axe, the axe of the road, weighing 7 talons and 7 minas, to his shoulder, and he entered Inanna's holy garden. Gilgamesh struck the serpent who could not be charmed. The Anzu bird flew with its young to the mountains, and Lilith smashed her home and fled to the wild, uninhabited places. Gilgamesh loosened the roots of the Huluppu tree, and the sons of the city who accompanied him cut off its branches. From the trunk of the tree he carved a throne for his holy sister. From the trunk of the tree Gilgamesh carved a bed for Inanna. From the roots of the tree he fashioned a puku for her brother. From the crown of the tree Inanna fashioned a miku for Gilgamesh, the hero of Uruk.